The power of the ATP. The heat of the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour. The thrill of Grand Slam tournaments. Eurosport, #1 in tennis.
The players, as you see, now courtside in this stunning Stadium Court 1. 16,100 when full. And there have been terrific crowds today, thankfully. It's been pretty sparse throughout the week, but they are coming in for the latter stages. Here's Elena, 24 years of age, the Russian #3, ranked 8 in the world. The #4 seed here, 1m80, is 5'11", and she's been in tremendous form, just losing 3 of the 16 matches she's contested. It started poorly in the Australian Open, lost to Julia Schruff of Germany, but she did play phenomenally well in that match. But of course, winning her first ever Tier 1 in Tokyo straight afterwards put that memory very firmly behind her. She's had a good record here, 6th visit. She's been a semi-finalist twice and a quarter-finalist as well, and her route through has not been without difficulty. The first round against Yakimova, the Belarusian #1, was a 3-setter, as it was against Sania Mirza, the Indian #1, coming from a set behind. And she had a bit of a breeze through Linar, the Chinese #3, 3-2 in the 4th round. And you were with us yesterday, you would have seen her beat the Serbian, the 8th seed, Ana Ivanovic, again from a set down. She served 14 double faults yesterday, pretty much in the first set and a half, but still managed to come through, as resilient as ever. And maybe no one on the tour more resilient than Elena Dementieva. And it's Chris Bradham alongside Sam Smith. Tremendous first semi-final, Sam. Let's hope this gets somewhere near it.
Well, it certainly set the standard, and when you're thinking it's only got 6 games, I think that was harsh. I think she was probably worth a lot more, and Maria Sharapova just able to hit enough winners to get her through. But boy, wasn't she happy to get through that match. It was like she won it 6-4 in the 3rd.
Yeah. So just the one loss for Justine Henin-Arden this year, winning the 24th title in Sydney. And of course it was in the Australian Open, the one lost to Amelie Mauresmo. More of that in a mo. And her route through, well, it's been absolute plain sailing. Just the 12 games lost. In fact, her record here has been extraordinary. She missed last year when injuring the right knee. The champion in the year 2004, she beat Lindsay Davenport in the final. And that year she didn't drop a set. She hasn't dropped a set here. She's been very miserly with the number of games she's conceded. So she absolutely loves it here in the Californian desert.
Well, it's an ideal court and atmosphere for her because the air is pretty thin here, so the ball flies through the air a little quicker. She's not having to generate quite as much pace. I wouldn't say hard courts is her absolute best surface. I would say that it's a much better surface for Elena Dementieva, but the environment here really does suit Henin-Arden because she's not having to, as we had a long and quite tedious discussion about the speed of the court a little while ago, and we both sort of vaguely agree it's not a quick court. Yeah. It's a medium court, but it's not a super slow court. I think that's fine as far as Justine Henin-Arden is concerned. But I'm not surprised that she does well here. But you just get the feeling if she's doing so well on hard courts, won Dubai, has won Sydney this year, what's she going to be like on the clay court season? Because that really is her absolute stomping ground, where she's probably, I think, the best in the world on clay.
Yeah, with you. Hot favourite for another title at Roland Garros. Defending champion, of course. Mary Pierce didn't show up in the final last year. Quite extraordinary, that match. But the breeze has picked up from the first semi-final. Carlos Rodriguez, Justine's coach from the age of 14. They've been together nearly a decade now. Has been through it all with her. It's a great team. Must be a fatherly figure for Justine, that's for sure. We saw a brief caption, Sam, of the head-to-heads. They've played 8 times. Elena's managed just 1 win. How significant that, do you feel?
Well, I think Elena is absolutely brilliant with her own PR. I think she's wonderful at ignoring anything that's gone on before that's bad, and it is excellent about turning up each day. And I do see there that Vera Dementieva must have pinched Martina Hingis' mother's hat. It's definitely from the Melanie Molitor range.
It's on loan.
And very sensible it is. And I think she's ever so sort of bright in that way, the way Elena just flicks, she just lets all the bad things go away, the bad head-to-heads. But for me, this is the incomplete tennis player against the complete tennis player.
Yeah.
Because Elena, for all her fantastic athleticism, I think she really understands the game, the wonderful ground shots. She's got the serve that nobody wants.
I'm glad you said that.
The wind will get up here and it will make it even worse. And she wins a lot of matches. You only have to look at her amazing 3-set record, her tie-break record, that she is amazingly mentally strong. But I don't think she's as strong as Justine Henin-Ardenne.
No.
I think probably Justine, when she's fit and healthy and isn't debilitated by the virus, I can't see anyone that's stronger than she is mentally. Not even Sharapova.
Very interesting, as normal, Sam. Beautiful day. It's the second women's semi-final of the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour Pacific Life Open here in the most amazing setting of the Tennis Garden in Indian Wells in California. There's Justine Henin-Ardenne, the former world #1 for 45 weeks, up against Elena Demencheva, a former top 4 player in the world. And of course they're playing for the right to challenge Maria Sharapova in the final tomorrow. I talked long and hard about Demencheva's serve yesterday, Sam. That's why I said I'm pleased to hear you say about the fact she's got a serve nobody really wants. Let's hope she serves well today, because she's going to need to. Demencheva to begin. Is hitting the ball well in the opening point. Coming into this match, Justine said that she felt Elena was one of the most solid players on the baseline. So I will have to be very consistent, serve well for sure, and get ready on the return. That's going to be one of the keys. The return of serve, she says. It's just stunning, isn't it? The length of the swing and the way she shapes up on that backhand.
Just going back to the return of serve, I'm sure her coach Carlos Rodriguez has said, don't you dare make mistakes on that return of serve, because I think that's one of the most horrifying stats on the women's tour, I would imagine, is mistakes off the Elena Demencheva serve from the players, particularly as it goes to the forehand of right-handers most of the time.
Well, straight away break points, but it never phases Demencheva. She knows coming into every match, no matter who it's against, she's going to lose a serve a number of times. It's just part of the game plan almost. That's #1, and it's the first break. Almost an air of inevitability from the crowd. They love their tennis, they know all the players and the way they play. That wouldn't have surprised anybody here. problem for Dementjeva, of course, is that she's playing against somebody, okay, 5'5" 3/4", 1m67, but a serve that has just improved in leaps and bounds.
I still think it can have its odd glitches, because it's not the serve that she grew up with, like her backhand, like her volleys. I think she's had to do a lot of work on it, and I think it's something that will keep on improving. Certainly the action is far simpler now than it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Just long. Of course, in terms of experience between the two, they're right up there. This is Justine's 53rd career semi-final. She's won 37, and for Dementjeva here, this is her 40th. She's won 15. They've obviously competed in major finals, Justine winning some, Elena not, but it's almost just about getting the execution right here today. Nothing else is going to probably get in the way.
One thing that is clear from those numbers, Justine is far superior at winning major semi-finals. Elena's under 40% success rate. Yeah. There's obviously something that doesn't work for her at this stage of the game. Probably players like Ellen Arden in the way.
Good variety on the serve now as well as Justine. I mean, not only was that the out wide one, but it was almost a kicker out wide going away, which is almost a contradiction in terms. It's a talented serve now she has. Super point. Point of attrition.
Just a couple of times Ellen Arden has been forced to hit the short low slice defensively, and to be honest, Dementjeva looked most uncomfortable trying to deal with that shot. Looked very happy trading on the baseline.
Just occasionally on the backhand it can look a little ungainly, can't it? I suppose because when she hits the drive it's all or nothing every time virtually. Inevitably we'll get a couple wrong. Brilliant. There's something we never used to see from Dementjeva with a drop shot, but it is part of the artillery now.
Yeah, it does look a little gawky, the drop shot. Never looks happy when she takes one hand off the racket. But got enough backspin on it and then covered the open court really well.
Chance to break back. And that'll please Justine on the break point, getting a good first serve in. Might have only lost to her once in 8 meetings, but totally respectful of the danger the other end. Well played. Will run round the backhand to use that forehand. It's such a weapon as well, of course. And 2-love first set. I love the mindset of Dementjeva coming into this matchup with the head-to-heads as we've discussed. I'm glad I have a chance to play against her, she says, because for me it's going to be a great experience. I'm trying to be #1 in the world, so by beating everybody, and to play against such a good player and try to win tomorrow, that's absolutely the right approach.
15.
Well, you just feel that Elena Dementjeva had every right to have some confidence coming into this event. She hasn't had a bad year, and once she's got into a tournament, she's had a couple of tight 3-set matches. She knows she really belongs here in the semi-final. I think also, apart from their first meeting in 2002, where Justine just gave her 3 games, all the matches they've played since then have been very competitive, tight sets.
Yep.
So that Justine has known every time that she's been in a match.
A little loose on the return. Didn't quite catch that comment. There's always one, isn't there? Dementjeva holds, but with a little help from Justine there. Keeps it to the single break. It's 2-1 first set for the Belgian. Good buzz around the Stadium 1 court here. There's a large crowd in. It takes some filling. 16,100. It's about 1,000 more than the centre court at Wimbledon. Just to give you an idea of its size. It sort of goes up and out, so it's a completely different noise for the players courtside. The sort of semi-roof on the centre court at Wimbledon, which sort of angles in, the noise is trapped. Made it.
Well, I was wondering when we're going to see the Belgian come in. I think certainly this is a very different set of circumstances out here, because Elena Dementjeva is known for her great passing shots. I don't think that was one of them, but you do have to pick your moments to come in, and I've noticed how much more Enarden is coming in these days, but this is a match where she'll just hold fire a little bit. I certainly think getting past once or twice isn't going to stop her from coming forward, but she's going against so many other players. I've seen her really hit a big forehand and bluff her way forward. I know she can't do that in this match.
It is quite breezy. It will play a part. It has done in the tournament so far, particularly last weekend. so clever. So clever.
Well, we saw plenty of improvisation from Martina Hingis in the previous semi-final, but I think these two could go head-to-head in that department. That ball was actually moving in the air. The flight completely changed.
Well, it's another point to relish. It had everything.
Oh, she's just a great mover, the Russian. Enjoys running after the ball, hitting the ball on the run. That would have won that point against most players on the tour. But Enladen just gave Demencheva a little more to do.
If the wind is going to influence the ball from this position here, looking on the back of the court shot, it's right to left as we look. The ball will be moving. Saw some amazing facial close-ups of Vera yesterday in the match against Ivanovic. She was totally out of it for a set and a half. Setting a break down.
Is that Elena or the mother?
Yes. Very close, a very confident call from the lineswoman. Justine's not convinced. Saved a break point in her opening service game, so they're keen games, these. Oh, she's missed it. I thought she'd made it. Wonderful get from Demencheva twice. And what speed.
Well, the great thing Demencheva has is when she sets off, she's so quick with her first couple of steps that she's there so early, and she got enough on that passing shot that it was just really, it was the pace that was hard to control.
Another bite at the break-back cherry. She loves that serve on the big points on the left court side. Justine down the middle. kicker to the backhand is doing more damage.
Well, it's unbelievable. In the previous deuce point, Elena Demencheva's good returner of serve was hitting the second serve return about 2 or 3 meters behind the baseline. That's how much kick the Belgian was getting on the second serve.
Ooh. Well, miss it off the frame. That was very close, though. And the sun may be influencing the decision to let the lob bounce. But that into-out forehand from Justine's end into the backhand of Demencheva is going to be a good shot because it's going to get the wind helping it along its way. It's going to be a good shot for the pair of them. Had a chance there, Demencheva, but she held her ground at the net so well.
Well, Elena, even though she hit a decent approach, has to be so careful because that's what Elena Demencheva does well. She runs and she hits brilliantly. Thought the obvious shot there for Demencheva was the cross court as she came up, but that was great anticipation. That's a no then.
It's not the only Russian word I understand as well. Everyone laughs and smiles though when she delivers it, the squeal. Even Mum. She does it with personality. Coming up to nearly 25 minutes played. We've only played 3 games so far. It's a real battle, these early exchanges.
It's interesting for me to see how much Elena Ardern on the backhand side has gone with topspin rather than slice or underspin in these kind of conditions. I think on court, down at court level, it's a lot windier than it may seem, because obviously if she uses slice, it's an effective shot, but once you open the racket face, you can lose control.
Yeah. And
for these two in out here, it's all about controlling this tennis ball.
Another half chance.
Yeah, that's another niet, I think. Shouldn't have missed that. She prepared so early. Maybe had just too much time on the shot, and it's always intimidating against Elena Ardern because she gets so many balls back. And it starts to play on your mind.
Well, a forehand cross court, the penultimate shot in that point, is her trademark. It's her best shot, Demencheva. But that's the second time in a row she's gone for the down the line and miss, and that doesn't make an awful lot of sense, and it's going to the NM backhand. Very easy from here, of course. 3-1 the advantage, but tough games they've been. I mentioned yesterday, Sam, in the Menchev's match against Ivanovic, that when she just puts the slice serve in and then a couple of shots they're in the rally, it's exactly like playing a rally when she's receiving serve, and that's got to be the way, surely, just to disguise what can be a huge problem for her. I'll rest my case there. I'm not going to say any more. I'm very aware of how much it's mentioned. Same again there, though. I prefer the outfit when she's faced the other way. It's a bit too busy for me, the top. Ouch, ouch. Two further break points. Gifted. That was such a short serve that sat up. That's a surprising miss.
Well, I mean, Elin Ardern isn't the first woman on tour to do that. And that's what I was talking about a couple of games ago. You've got to cut those errors out.
Even more reason for the Russian as well. Off a serve like that, she's not punished. It just says it all, doesn't it? There aren't Martina Navratilovas around that would have just leant on that, chipped it near the line to a good length. So come on then, pass me. Again and again and again. It's a bit scrappy all of a sudden.
Yes, I feel that Elin Ardern has played quite a cautious first 4 or 5 games. I think it's been very aware to put a lot of balls in court. I feel she's played it tactically absolutely right. She's putting in a lot of hard yards right here early on in this match.
another chance for the double break. Could sense it. It's a fistful already. And the difference between them at the moment is that when the breakpoint chances have come along, Justine has capitalised. It's 4-1 first set. You can hear the mutterings courtside. There is so much to talk about here. We've seen some terrific points, some great battling points, but then, of course, the serve that stops starting for Dementjev all of a sudden, it just sort of almost kills the match, doesn't it?
Yes, I think it does, and I almost think that Ellen Arden struggles to find her rhythm when that happens as well. I think she finds it just as difficult.
Yeah, that's a good point.
As have other, top female pros over the years. I certainly feel, and apologies if you heard this before, but in the wind I was always taught the key to it is there's always one end that's easier to play at than another, and it's only the players will know which end that is, but you must win your games at the easier end. Or do everything you can. That's the golden rule, and I think that's what this woman in the picture is doing. I suspect the easier end to play at is the one that she's at now.
Just long, bad luck. And this end is more into the wind. Dementjeva has the wind with her, and as I've said, from the wide shot behind the court, right to left as you look. Ooh, what a bad judgment. She's human.
That's harsh, I feel. That's very harsh. I think it was totally the right ball to come in, and she opened up the court. And this just floated. For all intents and purposes, that was going way into the trams.
Good serve, good response.
She's demanding that she serves well, because psychologically it's such a blow for Dementjeva. Dementjeva starts to feel that she can't break. I'm afraid all the cards are on the table, and it's game over.
Yep. She's had 3 break points so far, Dementjeva, unconverted.
Yes, at the moment, I think she still believes she can break.
Yeah. That's a good point. Putting pressure on that backhand of Justine with the wind.
It's quite a fascinating point, though, because that was the first time that after backhand cross-court exchanges between the two of them, that Ellen Arden has elected she gently sliced one down the line to the forehand, and she's so frightened of doing that because we've talked about this great forehand cross-court. She's so trying to keep away from that shot. That's why we're having all these backhand cross-court rallies.
Oh, it's in. Again, Justine thought that was going out. Not the cleanest hit forehand that Dementjeva's played, but just about found the mark. Fourth break point chance of the set for the 24-year-old. And does break.
Now that leads 4 games to 2.
2-4 now, the deficit. But again, it will still feed the confidence that she can win this or claw her way back into it. I mentioned Dementjeva winning her first Tier 1 in Tokyo this year. Enan's won 8 already. So Justine will hardly be lacking belief herself. That was a better camera angle just to appreciate the wind and the extra pace that comes from cross-court far end. If you do catch it a little late down the line, it will fly. Bit of paper just flying around in the wind. Little alley from Justine there, the first of the match, and a chance to break again. Dementjeva's held just one of her 3 service games so far. And that was a pretty tame end to the game. She'd got a little bit of a roll on there, Dementjeva, which has just come to an end. It's a double break advantage again for the top seed, and the champion of 2 years ago, remember. It really is a glorious day. Apart from this quite strong breeze at times, it's virtually perfect playing conditions, about mid-70s in Fahrenheit. Cloudless sky for about the 3rd day running. I mean, yesterday started off cloudy but soon disappeared into this sort of setting. It's quite a stadium, isn't it, for 2 players? New balls for Justine Henin-Ardenne. It's got 2 bites at serving out the set. Here's the first at 5-2.
Well, you certainly feel Henin-Ardenne will be very keen to close out this set, because then she'll put a Dementjeva into to start serving in the second set, and would look then for an early break, and that would position her very nicely for the rest of the match.
Yeah, really put Dementjeva on the back foot right from the off, losing the opening service game of the match.
Well, she was broken in the first game of the match, and those things have a sort of way of repeating themselves.
Yep.
It's a great angle actually to watch the Russian from, because she must have fantastic hand-eye coordination in the way that Andre Agassi has, that she sees things very early because her preparation is so early. When you look at how high her swing is on the backhand before she sets at the back, it has to be early. And that was very late, which can happen in the wind because the ball just shoots at you. Don't often see Henin-Ardenne late on the ball.
She saw a big space as well, didn't she, having got the serve out wide. A little over-eager.
Looks right now really in control out here.
And just the odd patch where Dementjeva sort of goes flat. Just asking for confirmation the return was long. It's been given. 2 set points for the world number 3. Yeah. The wind just picked up there. Justine waited a little just to feel the wind on her body, to assess the ball toss and so on, but it's picking up. There's no question the severity of the wind. Still yet to concede a set. Won the title 2 years ago, all in straight sets. It's business as usual in Indian Wells for the former world number 1. 6-2 in 45 minutes. So Sam, put yourself in Dementjeva's shoes. Only ever beaten this woman once in 8 meetings. Had chances in that set, couldn't capitalise, lost the set. So Sam, put yourself in Dementjeva's shoes. Only ever beaten this woman once in 8 meetings. Had chances in that set, couldn't capitalise, lost the set comfortably, the scoreboard will say. Where does she go from here?
Well, knowing Dementjeva, it'll be much of the same. I don't think she's done a lot wrong, but I think the unforced errors has been a factor. The serve has been a big minus, as always.
Yeah.
And with Dementjeva, I mean, one of the problems that she has, and maybe why she hasn't won a slam, is there isn't a B game.
Yeah.
This is it. And she'll obviously just have to get maybe some more adrenaline going and get a better performance out of herself. Maybe she'll take a few more risks.
Yep.
Because certainly she's not really penetrating Henin-Ardenne in the rallies. She's only hit 5 winners in this match, and she always hits many more than that. Maybe that's the conditions. But if Henin-Ardenne keeps this up, you know, I just think it's kind of shut down for Dementjeva. She's just being shut out of this match.
I mean, she's got a phenomenal 3-set record. She's 69-1 and 24 lost in 3-set matches, Dementjeва. Obviously it's different when you've got Justine Henin in the other side of the net. But she herself says often in the press, I'm a very slow starter. You can imagine she'll be feeding that into this psyche as well right now, just to give herself some hope and belief. But she's got to get going quickly now, that's for sure.
Time.
Justine, once she's got you down, she'll want to bury you.
Take your seat quickly, please. Minutes are ready. Thank you.
So this is a big game for Dementjeва. At the start of the second set, she won't want a repeat of the first, where she was broken straight away.
Love 15. White face, yeah.
Little reluctant there, Henin, to push forward.
15-14.
She knows that Dementjeva loves the target.
2 chances for the Belgian to get that ditto start. Top of the net. Awkward overhead though. The ball was just moving with the wind.
And this is where actually Dementjeva is so mentally resilient, because I mean this was a dumb shot to play. She knows that, but instead of beating herself up after the point, she just laughs. Yeah. And not many players would do that, and that's what keeps her going in these matches.
Interesting, she backed off there, Justine, maybe hoping Dementjeva was going to miss. 15-40 to Deuce.
And one of the reasons that Dementjeva deals with adversity on the court and the reverses in the score so well is she doesn't really beat up on herself. It's such a big thing.
Unlike Ivanovic yesterday, when things went wrong. Couldn't have been far long. But long it was. Third break point of the game. It's just reached that patch again, hasn't it, where it's just gone off the boil, the match. It's got to keep working and playing through these passages of play. Miss Resilient holds. Much to the delight of a few in the crowd. One in particular. That was a big game.
Well, Elena Dementjeva forgot to read the script there. And so it was interesting what you were saying about her 3-set record, which again is brilliant this year. She's played 7 3-set matches. She's won 6 of them. And I think it works two ways. I think certainly Elena will be putting pressure on herself to win this in 2 now, which I think may produce some errors as well, because I just feel that, you know, she really wouldn't want to go to 3 sets. I think there's a pressure in there in itself. I do think Elena Dementjeva is a little casual about dropping first sets against players of this kind of quality.
Yep.
I'm not sure Elena needs a set start.
Just a little lazy on that volley. Didn't put enough work in on it. There are 8 previous meetings, 3 have gone the distance. Justine's won 2 of them. The last was 3 years ago.
love.
It's a good switch up from Arden. I think maybe she feels now she's got the cushion of the first set, but maybe she can throw a few more slices in, because I think if it wasn't so windy, I think that's a shot she would use, mixing up the pace a little bit more.
Yep.
I don't think there's been enough variety from the Belgium in that first set, and given the conditions, that's totally understandable.
Love game, the first love game of the match. Ties things up at the start of the second set. Ooh, was that an itch? Was she feeling a little tight in the hamstring? Yeah, that's a bit of a grimace and a little bit of a limp.
I'm sure we will see the trainer at some stage.
Fiercely struck, that backhand from Dementjeva. Unable to control it, the 23-year-old. It's interesting, of course, it was the right knee that Justine fractured December 28th, missed the Australian Open in 2005 as a result. Sounds painful, doesn't it? A fractured knee. Would have loved a love game herself, you would imagine. She did serve one against Ivanovic yesterday. Got a nasty feel about this game. 40 love and then just a little bit of hesitation. 7th double, 2nd of the set. Yeah, just sense it.
They're never far away, and it's a shame because she was just starting to look a little dangerous. She may still go into the changeover 2-1 up, but if she can it does change this match. Certainly in Ardennes' mind.
How many dare look? Oh dear, oh dear. It's almost the equivalent of the yips, isn't it? Well, it is the equivalent of the yips. It's all mental, just trying to shake the arm out. Mum's getting all edgy again. Break point. Barely get the ball out of the hand. Missed it. Boy, oh boy, you'd think that Justine would be saying to herself, there's no way am I going to miss a shot in this rally.
Well, she was, but she just chose completely the wrong option and chose a shot with a very high degree of difficulty in the wind.
Yeah. Well done, Elena Dementjeva. Good first serve then. It's a little half smile there. She has just got the most amazing attitude. It's brilliant how she deals with this problem. It's a lesson for everybody. And she does hold. Well, it's worth getting the champagne out after that game. It's 2-1, second set. Anything could happen still. I'll safely say that was an interesting game, Sam.
Well, Elena Dementjeva, she must be sitting at the changeover thinking, hey, I can serve 3 double faults in a row and I can still win the game. This is great. I've got a chance in this match.
Do you think they're phoning to see if they can buy a serve? Send out the cavalry?
I don't know, but seriously, that does a lot of damage to the Ellen Ardennes psyche more than anything, because she had She's now, Elin Allen really could be 3-love up in the second set. You know, just maybe 10-15 minutes away from a nice shower. Instead, you still feel that there's early on in the second set, there's a third set looming.
Yep. No, I'm with you. And that's because of everything we've seen from Dementieva, the way she has been so resilient in these situations. 1-2, second set.
First winner we've seen in a while from either player. Good margin for error there. This is not a day for going too close to the lines.
Justine. Ball go. There, the towels.
Shadow's proving a little problematic at the moment. Super volley. All it needed just to be solid.
Well, that's what she wants when she comes forward. She wants a straightforward volley. She's had to play some very difficult ones. Not trying to do too much with it. Perfect technique.
Two all second set.
2 games on.
Only been broken once in the match so far, Justine. So everything according to the game plan she talked about coming in so far.
certainly expect a big push from Ellen Arden in the next couple of games. We've talked a lot about the wind and the conditions out here. I think it affects both of them almost equally, but it certainly, in a way, is easier for Dementieva.
Made it. It's sort of a jab, short ball, punch shot. I mean, it's pretty unique, that one.
Yes, one of her own. And what I was saying just before this point was that it's easier in a physical sense for Dementieva. You can see that she's a much stronger physique than her opponent, and you just think how hard Ellen Arden is having to fight in this wind.
Yeah.
You just think the longer this goes on.
It is a great leveler, the wind. It's like a bad grass court. That's a great leveler too.
I just think the strength, the physical strength of Dementieva, it does help her.
Yeah.
The serve doesn't.
No.
But if this goes long, this has already taken a lot out of Ellen Arden.
So 10th double. It's amazing. As further break points loom. She's now served 24 double faults in the last 4.5 sets. Put it another way, it's a game and a half a set gifted. She's only lost 3 matches this year with that sort of serving.
Light for serve.
Yeah, it was perfectly set up for that into-out forehand. And it is the first break, second set. It goes by the way of the Belgian number 2. It's a set and 3-2 now. It's looking ominous for the Russian number 3. Yeah, time to think comes to an end. It really has been the difference between them, I hate to say. The ability to break, sure. The chance is offered. Dementieva has converted on 1 of 4 break points. Justine, 4 of 12. That's massive, the amount of chances that she's had. Set and 3-2 now. Just a reminder for anybody that wasn't with us earlier, with Joan Simon, Maria Sharapova beat Martina Hingis in a fantastic semi-final. 6-3, 6-3 in an hour and a half. Awaits the winner of this for tomorrow's final. Good shot. And that final at 10:30 Saturday evening, UK time, 11:30 Central European time on Eurosport International and British Eurosport.
A little more positive now, and Ellen Arden certainly has upped the tempo since 2-all. I think she recognises this is the time that she's got to put it together. Don't allow dementia to become dangerous.
Just stop moving her feet there, the Russian, for once. Starting to look more comfortable, no question.
Well, Anna Ardern in control, which is really how she wants to play this match. Has only dropped 2 points in 3 service games in this second set, so she's got to be feeling good about that department. I think she'll be very pleased in these windy conditions. I think she must feel one more break and she's there.
Good play.
15 love.
Tactically, the Belgian, in my view, has played a very good match. I mean, you think about the number of cross-court forehands that Dementjeva's got hold of.
Yeah.
I can only think of one that she's really got a racket round. And when you can take away your opponent's marquee shot, then you're really doing something right. Doesn't mean to say that Anna Ardern will win this match or even this set, but she's done a good job of nullifying Dementjeva so far.
Ooh. Bit of a jab, and the wind grabbed it, but it was close. Second winner down the line.
Gosh, she hits that so well. She gets down with that ball and she stays with it all the way.
It's a huge point, wasn't it, as well? Set down 2-4, 30 all. Great length. A lot of neck clearance, which made a lot of people in the crowd thinking it was going long, that forehand from Justine. But plenty of topspin to bring it in. Six points from the final. Occasionally when you would expect her to be heading through the ball, she's just lifting up the back too much. Still an enormous amount of respect being shown here from the former world number one.
Really good defense coming out of that backhand corner. I think possibly Anna Narden hits that shot almost as well as anyone on the tour. It's a shot that you see a lot of the younger players that are just in their first or second years on the pro, so they don't really have that shot.
There's very few double-handers on that wing that have got a good single-handed slice. And this surely would be a pretty large nail to get a double break. I don't know how much she meant of that volley.
Nothing.
But it got there.
She just hit it, stuck her racket out.
Again, that lovely smile and disposition. She'll be kicking herself, Justine. She's not sitting down 5-2. Wasn't even looking at the ball, really.
It's indecent, really.
Well, she holds serve and it's 3-4. Justine's hardly sort of accelerating away and looks totally relaxed and believing. It's giving encouragement to this 24-year-old.
That's such a smart play there. Just changing the speed and the spin so the ball actually span into the Russian, and she's not that adept at getting the ball out of that situation. Doesn't quite have the flexibility in her hands.
Snatched. Awkward ball to get onto there. Should have moved up the court, of course, but just not her way. She's played a drop shot as we look right to left, so the wind is going to exaggerate taking it over anyway. So there's Justine backhand.
It's not really drop shot weather, is it?
Nope.
This afternoon.
That's very true.
It's the longest game of the match so far.
She looks tight, Justine. Right here. Before she won a major, of course, she was a group of players that, does she have the big match temperament? And she suddenly sort of clicked over and then knocked a few in, but not at the moment. They're both struggling. There's a comedy of errors at the moment.
Well, I think it's never easy to close out against Dementjeва because she is so unpredictable. I think you take out the serve, and I think the rest of the game she doesn't play the score. She plays the big points. She plays every point as if it's as important as the next.
It's almost like they respect each other too much, though, don't they? You know, in terms of what we've been seeing. A lot of balls down the middle of the court that time from Enan Arden. And another breakpoint chance. Her 15th. Well, in a way, as the smile comes again, it'll be good for Dementjeва to hold here. Otherwise the match could really fizzle. It'd certainly be a test for this woman. Yeah, it's a good play. But she's not trusting herself that much from the back.
Look at that look to the coaching camp. She got a wonderful angle with that backhand. Great width, opened up the court.
He's a rock for Justine, isn't he? Carlos Rodriguez. Yeah, something you can see at times how blustery it is and how strong the wind is. I mean, when you consider the strength and what it's done to one of the cushions, or two of the cushions, it puts a lot into perspective here. They are handling these conditions very well indeed. It's deceptively strong. There is the double break, finally, for Justine. It's one of those days you've got to keep battling, keep demanding, and you know Dementjeва is a master at that. For the first semi-final, watched by a disappearing crowd at the moment. They fear the worst for Dementjeva. It was 3-3 for Sharapova in an hour and a half. Well, this is 6-2, 5-2, and we're 2.5 minutes shy of the hour and a half mark. It's been a tough battle in tricky conditions, but Justine Enan Arden has two chances to serve for a place in the final. Her fourth final of the year it would be.
Yes, it'd be interesting to see how Enan Arden picks up here serving after such a long previous game. 7 deuces that last game. She has had to work so hard physically in this match to get to this position. I guarantee you she's far more physically fatigued than the woman in the pink jazzy shirt that you love so much.
One of the favourite expressions in teaching tennis is keep your eye on the ball. In these sorts of conditions it's even more important, because the ball, once it loses a bit of pace, is really being swung around Keep the feet going a little bit longer than normal so you can readjust if necessary. Well, this match ain't over yet. Dementia is still battling. And 3 breakback point chances. And that was a chance.
14.
If she could request it, she'd probably say, Justine, would you mind serving again?
Well, it also shows, look how important that last service game was. Because
Yes.
it really could have gone into the break with Elin Ardenne 4-3 up. Could be 4-all now.
3-5 it is for Vera's daughter. Serving to stay in the tournament with new balls. Well, Justine's turn to completely go off the boil.
To be fair to her, her performance has been pretty consistent throughout this match. It's really been Dementia who's been much more up and down. Just not really a good play for her. Not against someone as quick as Elin Ardenne. But one thing Elin Ardenne will know, and I think this is part of the anxiety, is even if Dementia plays a few bad games, she can be so streaky. Once she gets hot, she can be unplayable. And Elena thrives on this situation. Just when everyone thinks she's out of this match, people are leaving. Oh no, time to play.
Come back. Well, she must be very jittery in there. She's not showing anything. She's struggling to make even the simple shots at the moment. The top seed. Super. Great use of the wrist. It's a great reply to the slice serve. Out wide. It's a huge double. A flattened hard one. We saw a lot of that yesterday. Is that number 12?
Indeed it is. She's averaging about 2 a game in this match.
Well, they're both trying to play with margins for error because the wind is having such an effect, but every bit of luck helps.
London did the right thing. She took away the angle. I'm not sure how much margin for error Dimension was going for on this pass. She pretty much aimed for the tape. Sometimes you can get the breaks when you do that.
It is so edgy. Again, 2 points from the final. Interesting that off the same serve she would look just to hit down the middle and not go for the cross court, which she did so brilliantly earlier on in the game. And Demencheva does hold, and with it, her interest in this tournament. And this match has got very interesting again at 5-4. Well, it's impossible to know what's coming next, Sam. It's just battle, battle, battle.
Yes, you certainly felt. I felt that seventh game was absolutely key, and it was vital that NNRM was able to win it. But it was also a sign that Dementia started to find a little bit of form. And I just feel that I'm not sure that Dementia was playing brilliantly out here. I think she's relaxed. I think she can see the humour of the situation of the wind. She's not getting uptight. But I do feel the Belgian's gone off a bit.
Yep. And
that all has to do with this anxiety of closing out this particular match.
Yep. Irrespective of what happens here, Justine will stay at number 3 in the world, even if she wins the title. It's just about right here, right now. Of course, this is the time where willpower, mental strength, what information you feed yourself. What's the difference between winning and losing on both sides of the net? Fascinating to get a printout of their individual thoughts right here. Many have stayed to the conclusion. They might have a long while yet, the ones that have. For the second time, Justine Henin Arden serving for a place in tomorrow's final. That's the tough shot to deal with in the conditions. That into-out forehand again, hit flatter. Really surprised that she went to go down the line off it. I mean, tough to deal with anyway, but... boy, oh boy. She's finding it difficult to breathe at the moment. Makes two of us.
Well, and on the backhand here, not a great approach shot from Dementieva. Really no disguise, but still fantastic execution given the circumstances for the world number 3.
Yeah, it's a good decision to take the forehand, and it was a much more positive point, wasn't it?
Not sitting back this time, really controlling the point.
Again, 2 points from the win.
Dementieva really starting to find some penetration now with that into-out forehand. Really starting to break the defensives down of the Belgian. We haven't seen that too much in this match.
This to break back. Waited brilliantly for the same forehand that's really punishing from this end. It's 3 games in a row, including 2 breaks of serve, and would you believe it, Miss Resilient is 5-all. A proud mum.
Well, if you'd asked me 3 or 4 games ago, could Dementieva win the second set? You never count her out, but I couldn't see how she was going to do it. With this forehand working, you can see a way now.
Again, going for the drop shot from this end down the line. Well, it's a 1 in 50 shot because the wind, without the pace, the wind is just going to take it wide.
Yes, that was just panic thinking from Hernandez. First time we've seen that in this match. Not surprising. She's just lost 3 games in a row, lost a winning position.
And she's been, what, 6 times 2 points from victory? 5 or 6 certainly. And she looks so tight facially now. She has done pretty much throughout the second set, Justine.
It's just this horrible fear of having to play a 3-set match against Dementieva.
Of course, she could be gifted the break back. Let's hope it's not unlucky number 13 on the double faults for this 24-year-old. Sense a remarkable recovery here that's gathering momentum. This is a huge test now for the former world number one.
This really is, for me, the first time in the match that Enarden is starting to be outplayed, which she knows full well what's going on.
Dementieva holds comfortably. It's 4 games in a row now. She comes to the end where she can't use that into-out forehand. So this next game becomes interesting again, but Justine up against it now, second set. What a turnaround. Be interesting to see what she does in this next game. I mean, as you mentioned, Sam, we've been looking at that forehand into-out with the wind and so on. She can almost wait until she gets the right ball to then employ it, but the other end now, it's a different ball game. It'll be fascinating to see what happens tactically from the pair of them. I mean, there's almost an argument for Dementieva just to get the ball in, because Justine is so tight at the moment.
Well, you certainly don't feel that there's any clear thinking coming from the world number 3.
Yeah.
Certainly, as I said during this match, Enarden's done a great job of getting rid of the forehand cross court from her opponent. She's done that very, very well. But it's almost as if she started to play the reverse forehand in, and now it's become a problem. She's got to figure out where she's going to hit the ball to really make the most and shut out the Russian.
The unforced errors don't make pretty reading, but the wind is a major contributor to that stat, of course. Your tolerance in these conditions has to be phenomenal. And the good thing for the pair of them is the wind is consistently blowing in one direction and a similar strength. It's not chopping and changing, which is even more of a nightmare. So served for it twice, couldn't do it. Now he's got to serve to stay in the second set. Solid point from the Russian. Look at the expression. Anyone that's played the game competitively knows what she's going through right here. It's horrible. Trying to get a grip of what you're doing. And your mind is panicking.
And also something that she's really feared in this second set, which is going to 3 sets of Dementieva, is almost becoming fulfilled for her.
Been 2 points from victory so often. Now the right knee starts to hurt again. Not surprising with the scoreboard. Strange things happen to your body when you get tight. Dementieva 2 points from a final set. Now, just one. And the crowd are with her. Very anxious looks back to the support camp. 10 minutes shy of 2 hours. It's 3 set points. made it. It's cool under pressure.
Well, no, it's not winning a lot of these baseline exchanges, so might as well have a little gamble here.
She's still got a full head of hair, Vera. Still set point. And third time lucky. She can't believe it. 5 games in a row. We are going the distance. And Mum, well, she's starting to feel good vibes from her daughter, who inevitably at this stage will take a toilet break. Amazing, Sam.
Well, you could sort of sense maybe it was going to happen, but you really didn't believe it, a set and 5-2, that it would actually happen. I'm so surprised how Elin Arzen's level fell.
Yeah.
And I felt that at exactly the same time that her opponent just became a little more consistent, but also started to punch a few holes in her game as well, started to break these defences down. And she's certainly given so much physically in this match because she's tiny. She's just over 5'5". She's very light. I don't think she weighs more than about 120 pounds, which for a women's professional tennis player is nothing. In the wind, you really feel that, and she's had to fight the wind and the conditions. But she didn't quite do it for long enough. She maybe needs to fight them for another couple of minutes, and she would be now in the locker room.
Yep. Very tight set, as the total points one suggests. Just 2 points between them. And the right knee getting the treatment. We foresaw signs of that a long time ago in the match, which is now close to 2 hours. Of course, it was the right knee she fractured, just to remind you, or tell you if you weren't with us earlier. December 28th, 2004, in an accident, just fractured her right knee. Missed Sydney in the Australian Open that year. So maybe a reoccurrence, but when things start to go against you, you get aches and pains in all sorts of places. So the bandage being applied for Justine. There'll be a pause here anyway, because Elena has gone to change her clothing. Get a fresh start in the third set. I mentioned Demencheva's 3-set record. 69-24 in her favour. I mean, do you make her the favourite now, Sam? Having only ever beaten Justine once, as I mentioned earlier, they had 3 setters. Justine's won 2 of them, including the last 2 out of the 3 played.
I'm not trying to sit on the fence too much, but it is very difficult to say. Certainly you would feel that one thing that is very difficult as a player is that once you've had the momentum, as great as Elin Arzen had it, and she did have it to a set and 5-2, she worked hard for it. When you lose it, it's very hard to get it back again. Now, but with Demencheva, you never really know. She'd come back on court and serve a game of double faults, and it would be switched again. You just don't know really how much this has affected the woman in the picture. Very, very hard to say.
And of course, when Elena comes back, she's going to see the very, very heavily strapped right knee. So that'll give her a bit of a lift as well, if her opponent is getting lame. But a worry blanket can often be a good thing. When things are really going against you, it changes the psyche. It's like a football team losing a man. They get sent off. Very often they hold out for a draw, and in a lot of cases even win the match, the efforts that are then demanded from those that remain.
But I think also we've got to go back to that 3-set record, and I've got a nice stat here. Over the last 3 years, she's won 46 of best of 3 set matches and only lost 12. So she does something right when matches go the distance. I think she has fantastic physical fitness and resilience, and she almost seems to get more, Elena seems to get more of a rhythm as a match goes on, and at the moment she's got the winning formula out here. She almost seems to get more, Elena seems to get more of a rhythm as a match goes on, and at the moment she's got the winning formula out here.
Final set.
So the second semi-final of the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour Pacific Life Open in the Tennis Garden Indian Wells is going the distance. From a set and 5-2 up, serving for the match twice, the top seed and the champion of 2 years ago has lost 5 games in a row. Demencheva to get us underway at the start of the third. It's a good start for Justine. The right knee strapped at the end of the second set. Just checking that she could bend it as she came out onto court. It certainly looks okay. The strapping, it's an art, isn't it? Of course, we've mentioned Demencheva's 3-set record. Just last year, for example, Justine won 13 of 15 3-set matches.
Well, attack is going to be the name of the game, I would imagine. Now, judging on those last 2 points from Elin Ardenne, don't think she's going to try and grind this out from the back. I'm not sure physically she's going to be able to.
Well, that could help her too, tactically. We saw that earlier on, but that's only the second time we've seen that choice of return on the out wide serve from this end. And it was a clean winner again. 3 break points. Breaks to love. Well, you just know that's not really going to have a dramatic effect on Elena Demencheva. All right, I've given her a head start. I'm used to that.
Let's say I wouldn't be too put off by the taping on Elin Ardenne's right knee, particularly in the States. You know, you have a little cut or something, a tiny graze, and you get like 3 bandages on your leg. The Americans do like to tape very, very heavy. And she looks fairly, it looks like a fantastic tape job. She looks very mobile with that.
Yep. So regrouped. 1-love in the third. They're certainly going to be tired, whoever wins this one. Sharapova's probably hoping they'll play for another hour and a half already. Second pattern. Gets ahead, falters. Break back points. Honours even a break apiece, and of course that second set at Dementjevo 1 is the first set that Justine has dropped here in what is her 11th match. She won the title in 2004, all her matches in straight sets. It was the same here until that last one. Well, they should be thinking anything like that at the moment. He's starting to look very uptight, Carlos Rodriguez. Nothing he can do, of course. It's not going to be pretty. You just get the feeling the rest of this match, it's a case of just one of them somehow getting through it by any which way they can.
Yeah, it's tough for Enarden when she goes to force it right now, which she's trying to do to close off some of these points a little early. She's missing, and that's a big worry. I think a little harsh, the unforced error statistic. Hasn't been that kind of match.
Urgency in the very beginning of the first game this set from Justine at the other end to get forwards, not so against the wind more. Worth a try maybe. Well, the rallying at the moment sufficing. Chance for third breaker serve in a row. This set, the fourth in total and the fifth in the last 6 games. I mean, it just goes on and on. There was 5 breaks of serve in the second set, 4 in the first. And there it is. But again, you don't really feel it's decisive in any way at all. Just continues on the pattern of the match. Tough day for the pair of them.
Yeah, this is the sort of day where you earn your corn. Both having to work very hard. I feel that they're not playing the best tennis of the match right now. I think a lot of that was in the middle and latter stages of the second set. That's when they really were both playing reasonably well. And then Dementcheva just roared away at the end of that second set, and then just dipped a little bit. Picking a winner from here on, not easy. I think both are unpredictable. Both are having a bit of a slump.
Coming up to 4:45 in the afternoon local time here, Sam, and the temperature's definitely dipped.
Yep.
As we go into the evening, it really will. You'll see people in blankets and overcoats, and it's been glorious in the afternoon. I mean, temperature's about, just over 70, but the breeze has kept it a little chilly, and it will certainly cool off. Will that favour either of them?
Well, it will slow the court down. I think both will cope with that extremely well. I think a lot of it will be what is the physical output of this match for both these women. How much have they got left? It's very tiring mentally as well, playing in the wind, because you have to think about every shot you hit, because you can't trust the ball to go where you want it. And it's who's got the reserves right now.
And Dementcheva's already played three setters coming in. By comparison, Justine before this match had only conceded 12 games from her 8 sets. But mentally, I just get the feeling that Dementcheva, albeit she's behind a break again, I just think she's tougher. Not generally, perhaps, but now. Here's the forehand cross court from this end.
Yes, I think we'll have to sort of agree to disagree on who's mentally tougher out here. I think there's not a lot in it between the two. But I think still very hard to predict what will happen out here, which makes this match interesting.
Yeah, it does. It's absorbing, albeit not the best quality tennis. I certainly feel Dementcheva thrives in this situation and is quite enjoying it out here. I don't think Miss Ellen Arden is. Well, again, tricky in the wind. It looked ugly, didn't it? She got it all wrong, but it came at her very quickly. And once you start to become aware of the wind and you actually say to yourself, boy, this is tough in these conditions, those shots become even tougher. Much too long a swing. Three break back points, of course. Better, well done. Ball stayed up higher and longer, so the full swing easier this time.
Yes, you can never accuse Ellen Arden of not having guts out here. She's got that by the bucket load. Still prepared to come in despite the horror volley in the previous point.
Wow. Well, in the last 12 games played, there have been 9 breaks of serve. They're locked again. It's almost become a lottery. Who's your dollar on, Sam? Come on. super point, one of the best for quite a while. She looks tired.
You just sense out here that Elena Dementieva, if she can get enough balls in court, will run all evening if she has to.
Interesting to see what happens if Dementieva gets in front. Well, they've virtually rallied themselves to a standstill. Only about 4 shots to play with any width at all. Again, you feel, because of the tricky conditions, they're just frightened of going for too much. Well, just looking forlornly at the umpire, just hoping for something, but she missed it. Elena Dementieva says she's a slow starter. 2 hours and 15 minutes from the start, and she's got her nose in front for the first time. Any clues from here?
Still, I wouldn't like to pick a winner. I think it's almost impossible. I think what we are seeing is, though, that Dementieva is relishing and thriving in this situation. I'm astounded that they're giving the stats as unforced errors, over 50 unforced errors for both these women. I don't think it's been anything like that, because she has been so solid, sort of since really midway, about the 7th game through that second set. She's just put so many balls in court at her length, and she's been positive enough with them. I just feel Ellen Arden is getting frustrated out here and is not quite sure tactically now how to play this match.
I think she's got to come in more, because since setting 5-2 in the baseline rallies, you've only got to look at the scoreboard. She lost 5 games in a row, and she's 3-2 down in this set, predominantly staying at the back. Now that stat alone would convince me that she's got to try something different, even if it's just for a few points, to give Dementjeва a different look, to maybe put the self-doubt there. I've got to win this a different way now. The wind has certainly played a part. So how will Dementjeва handle being in front? The directors are Keane Gardner. It's 3-2 or 2-3 for the server. Final set. And now getting a little uptight when balls that are close are not going her way. Close is the response from the umpire. Long. Justine tried to get a racket on that as well.
Just astounding shot selection from the Russian. Certainly as an opponent against Dementjeва, you really never know what's coming next.
Well, didn't handle being in front very well at all. That's the answer. A love game for Justine of cheap points, really.
Well, you keep asking me to predict a winner. It's a thankless task.
I promise I won't ask it
again.
You've
got two very gritty, determined characters out here.
Yep.
Very evenly matched.
Somewhere one of them will just get a grip mentally for longer than the other, just for enough time to get it done. At the moment they're seesawing.
There are also two women aged 23 and 24 respectively who have enough experience to know not to give themselves too much of a hard time when they're playing poorly, and they've won plenty of matches playing far worse than this, and they can deal with it.
I could cope with a niet. I'm lost now. But just frustration at being a break up, 3-2 up rather, but then just losing her way. It's in. Justine didn't want that ball. She was there, just hoping almost it was going to go wide. This was strange. Wasn't hit hard. Plenty of flight. Right on the line.
To me, both these women really aren't thinking that much. They're both just hitting the ball.
Yes.
That's all we've got out here.
Yeah, it's a couple of drums.
Just letting automatic take over.
Well, a bit of mocking from Justine. The crowd maybe won't enjoy that gesture. Everyone's trying their best out here. Well, we've seen it all now. It's another brain freeze. And for the second time in the match, Demencheva nudges ahead. And it's 4-3 now. Final set. Point you made just now, Sam, interesting one about the fact that they won't give themselves too much of a hard time, the fact they're not playing anything like how they can play, and they've played worse and so on. Do you think, I mean, we've seen Demencheva smiling almost and laughing at some of the tennis that she's put together at times, but do you think the emotion of anger might help one of them to really get angry, to get a grip?
Well, certainly Nardin is more likely to get angry and use it in a positive way than Demencheva. Demencheva doesn't really kind of bubble, let things boil up into, because she's always sort of screeching and shouting. I think watching Elena, particularly in this situation where she's come back, I really can see her endearing herself to a lot of fans who ever watch her, because there's something very skittish about her, and I think a lot of people out there a lot of women particularly can relate to her. One minute she's doing everything right, and the next minute it's all gone wrong, and she doesn't really know why. And I think we can. Oh, it's not that bad. I don't think we need to.
She's missed the party.
No, but I think we can all relate to that, and I think she shows it in a very human way.
There'll be another. Real tears too. Must have been a good party. Still one going on here. Which one will celebrate? Serving from behind now, Justine. Should have had the winning feeling for most of the 2 hours and 23 minutes, but she's got to dig deep herself now at 3-4 final set. 7th double. Barely changed his expression, Carlos Rodriguez, apart from the odd fist clench and head pump. This focus that's occasionally having the plug taken out for both. Huge points now for the top seed.
Dementjeva is now starting to make herself very difficult to beat, and it's not fun when an opponent really is giving you that kind of a hard time down the other end of the court.
Again, that was so tight. Well, that's coaching, plain and simple. She said hit a backhand, not a forehand there. Can't think why. Superb. Allez, allez is the cry from Justine. A big puff out of the cheeks. Big test. She came through it.
Well, this has just turned into such an attritional match between these two now.
Over the 2.5 hour mark, if you count the seconds. Hasn't served a double for quite a while. She's been stuck on 14 with a good solid second serve there. Backed up brilliantly.
And this wasn't easy. She didn't have any angle to work with at all. This has become such a popular shot on the women's tour. The reverse backhand.
Super length. Literally knocking Elena off her feet.
And that's one of the few times in, well, probably a set and a half that Elena hasn't been able to just absorb all the pace from Enan, and that's all she's been doing, soaking it up, soaking it up.
Length again, and a good switch up the slice, and then the heavy top. It's a good combination.
Yep, we haven't seen enough of that in this match. That sudden injection of pace, that's what can break up this rhythm, this wall that Demencia has sort of put down on her baseline.
Getting closer and closer to just her second win against Justine Henin-Arden. Just 4 points now. Who would have believed that at a set and 2-5 down? You can see the way she closed her eyes and just sauntered back to the chair. It's going to take an awful lot still.
Well, Demencia for me has been the more relaxed of the two. Certainly the pressure's on Henin-Arden. She was the one expected to win this match, and I feel that the Russian is the one enjoying this situation far more. Maybe that will help her, I don't know, but I just feel so much tension coming from Henin-Arden, and the pressure she's putting on herself. She should have won this match. An hour and a half ago she was a set and 5-2. It was all there for her. Tough to come back from that, but if anyone can, she of course will be able to do that.
Some setting, isn't it? The desert behind this Stadium Court one. And everything that's going on and has gone on in the match, just to keep focused. Plan the next game, point by point. They're getting ready for the souvenirs. So the biggest game on the scoreboard in the match for the top seed and the champion of 2 years ago. Great reception for the pair of them. The Belgian number 2 serving to stay in the semi-final. It's 4-5, third set.
There's the impatience that we've seen from the last set and a half, just snatching at that forehand.
It's a good play from Dementjeва, wasn't it? She's feeling tight, Justine. 4-5 down, just a loopier ball, no real pace. Vera's daughter now 2 points from victory. Gutsy. The way she constructed and executed that point.
You just wouldn't expect anything less. She saw the space and she didn't hold back. She went for it. And you think of the number of forehands she's missed in recent games.
Match point, Elena Dementjeva. We wouldn't have expected anything else on the match point, would we? The point of the match. Wow.
Well, this is the kind of match that you often hear commentators say in a rather patronising way. I don't think either woman really deserves to lose this match, but in this case, I think it's totally appropriate. I think neither really have done anything particularly wrong, and I think they've shown us just how gutsy and how tough they both are, both physically and mentally.
Good serve.
Yeah, and they're still showing us. Got a couple of very strong wills out here.
Yes. 4 major titles, remember Justine. We've just seen why. And how. Saves the match point. It's 5-all final set. Leave it in the end. I don't think she could have made it.
Well, there's the passing shot. If you don't come in on quality, she will pass you. But this is great hitting. These two have been out here on court almost 3 hours now. Wonderful ball striking.
She still looks pretty fresh, Dementjeva.
Certainly the fresher of the two,
yeah.
No doubt about that.
Feeling she still hadn't got her breath back for that point. Well, at one stage it was 9 breaks from 12 games. Now gone 7 games without a break. One more hole from Justine, and we really are into a lottery, the tie break.
Well, you just feel in this third set that really no one has been able to really get momentum and get hold of it. It's been quite samey between the two. They've both hit a few winners. They've both made some errors. They've both played some really tough physical points out here. Very similar, their game plans at the moment. I don't think there's really any tactics. It's just grind it out and go for the win. That's all that's important out here.
Champion here, remember, 2 years ago, Justine. Beat Davenport in the final. Missed last year with the right knee injury, one that she's been struggling with today, of course. And for Dementjeva, well, she's experienced on 2 occasions defeat in the semi-final. Last year against Kim Clijsters, and 6 years ago against Lindsay Davenport. But again, all of that is irrelevant right here. It's just somehow getting your thoughts together and finding a reason to finish this match. It's not going to rain. Second time. The top seed hoping to hold serve to stay in the match. It's 5-6. overstretched on one, but for the remainder, that's good positioning.
Makes such a difference in this final set when Ellen is able to just change it up, either the spin, the pace and the direction. She's kind of played a little bit into Gementria's hands. She's hit very straight up and down. I think that's really all she's been able to do, but that's been ideal for the Russian.
So well to get the serve back and was rewarded. Would you believe it? It's the second ace for Justine. Missed it. With control of the point for the best part of it as well. It's the second match point now for the Russian. Thank yous all round from Elena Demencheva. Just the second win against Justine Henin-Ardenne in her career in what is the 9th meeting. She came back from the dead at a set and 2-5 down. She refused to give in, and it will be an all-Russian final.
Well, I've got to concede, Chris, that I think that maybe, well, obviously she did. Elena Demencheva just edged the mental battle, but she certainly won the physical battle out here. I just think she had a little more energy in the end. I think for En Larden, it's the kind of match where she'll wake up tomorrow morning and the first thing she'll think about when she's got a sore head and a very sore knee is the fact that she really messed this one up. This will hurt for a little while, but not too long.
The 10-match win streak in Indian Wells comes to an end for Justine Henin-Ardenne. Might be a little stronger, the drink that next passes Vera's lips after that terrific encounter. And Elena Demencheva is into her second final of 2006, and it's her second Tier 1. She'll play Maria Sharapova tomorrow. It'll be 10:30 in the UK, Saturday evening, 11:30 in the evening, Central European time. Joe Jury and Simon Reed will guide you through the match and the final. And of course, we hope you enjoy it. That's it from Sam Smith and me, Chris Bradnam. It's quite a battle in the end, wasn't it? And for those who stayed, well, they're mighty pleased. 2 hours and 52 minutes. Elena Demencheva, delight for her, having lost in the semi-finals twice before, is through to her first final in the tennis garden. It's become an oasis for the Russians. Bye for now.